Thank you, Swamiji.
Here we can chant this mantra. We've got two mantras we can start with. The Shanti mantra we know. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And then, of course, Ambalo Satguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki, Ambalo Sri Guru Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki, Jai. And then one more mantra we can chant together for just a couple of minutes. This is Devi mantra. And I'll just introduce the mantra. Everyone here knows it or a variation of it. But the one we'll chant in particular is Om Hrim Aim Saraswatye Namaha. So just repeat after me the individual words. Om Hrim Aim Saraswatye Namaha. And just listen once and then join. We'll take just a couple of minutes. And I suggest to chant this into your heart, to guide this into your heart. In fact, you can place your hand on your heart if you wish. Of course, everything's optional. But if you wish, and this may help to guide it. Om Hrim Aim Saraswatye Namaha. 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 Please take a few moments. Allow yourself to remain in your center. And then you can gently, gently open your eyes when you're ready. First, prostrations to Swami. Wow. Thank you, Swamiji. Your dedication, your love, what you show up for and offer. Thank you. I've had a number of flashbacks. I think it had been 5 years ago since I was here last. 4 years, something like that. It's been a little while. Very good to be back. Wonderful to be back. So we didn't include Yoga Farm in that. And Yoga Farm has been a very important part of Swami's story. And I'll share this. And Swami Sita very specifically. I first met Swami Sita at a weekend workshop in San Francisco. And the workshop was Introduction to Vedanta. And it was in that workshop that I realized that indeed happiness and peace are not outside, but are your own true nature. This was a realization. It's the truth. It's the truth. Happiness and peace are not outside. They're not in any object. They are your own true nature. They are who you are. Not what you do, not how you do it. In fact, who you are. And this realization is the realization that brings peace. And what we can call real life. Real life. And so with that seed, my path took me to India and then back to walk pilgrimage. And that brought me through a process to meet another great saint, Peace Pilgrim. And we'll point to Swami Sivananda, of course, and Peace Pilgrim a little bit here this morning. And of course, but really we want to point to you. That's where we're really wanting to point, is your own true nature. This is what Swami Sivananda committed himself to. This is what Peace Pilgrim committed herself to. This is what Swami Sita Ji has committed herself to, is to shine the light on your own true nature and help you to reveal it, to offer yourself to it, and to live it like this. And this is really the way of peace. We chanted a mantra normally, and this is Divine Mother mantra. Divine Mother has given me a lot of her time this year. A lot of attention. Normally, we wouldn't explain what a mantra means, but in this case, there's a way to do it. Because when the mind asks, what does it mean? It's just looking for an English translation so that it can reference it somehow. But of course, that's not what it means. Mantra is not a set of words. Mantra is not even sound. But there is the sound aspect. Swami Sivananda teaches us that mantra is the divine. Mantra is the divine, encased in a sound structure. And so we hear the bit, but that's the casing. That's just the covering for the pill. And the mantra itself is the pill. And in this particular case, this mantra, of course, all of the yoga mantras are sacred. All of them are the divine in one form or another. The unity in one form or another. This one we can relate to it as Om, which is the totality. So we could say the vibration of the totality. But ultimately it is the totality. Don't relate to it intellectually. What I'm sharing this morning, and God willing, I would like you to have time to ask some questions. We'll establish some principles and then open it up more. The mind is the most difficult instrument to work with in terms of understanding fundamental truths of life. Because it is opinionated. This is what defines my mind, is the opinions of my mind. This is what my mind is defined by. To the extent that we're individuals, it's because of the opinions that we live with, that we live in the company of. So I get that our mind will say, I know what that means, but maybe you allow for the fact that it doesn't, and that will be perfect. And maybe you try to consult a higher power within yourself and ask a question and say, please help me to understand what this means. This is contemplation. This is the door of contemplation that we're wanting to open, that Devashishi yesterday was speaking of. So I'll suggest just hear it and allow for it as I talk about the significance of this mantra or mantras. So Om is the totality, or the vibration of the totality. We can relate it either way. Hrim is compassion, the seed vibration of compassion. Aim is the seed vibration of awakening. Saraswati is Divine Mother. Oh, yes. Saraswati is Divine Mother. We can say Durga as well. And of course, we had the Mother Homa yesterday. Incredible to invite Mother's blessings to be with each of us, with the yoga farm over the next 55 years. Whatever it will be. And then Namaha is symbolizing that I offer myself, which will sound funny, but we'll touch that I offer myself to Divine Mother, or to the Absolute, like this. So this is the mantra that we've just chanted. Peace Pilgrim. How many, I'm not going to tell the story of Peace Pilgrim, but I will encourage you to discover it. How many know of Peace Pilgrim already? Several here do. Wonderful. Okay, great. In a nutshell, Peace Pilgrim had committed herself to service. Simply, she committed herself to service. She didn't know how that would play out. She had lived a mundane life. By mundane, I don't mean washing clothes and like that. Everyone does that. The life where we live to get something, where we live to gain something, to get something out of life. Whatever it is that I want, it's okay. It's okay, we all do it. But we graduate from that at some point because it doesn't work. And we come to what in Sanskrit is called subhecha, the beginning of the turn, where we feel a call of something higher, something more important. And she had heard that. And she committed her life to the unity in service. She didn't know how it would play out. And the way it played out was she was made to walk pilgrimage for peace for 27 years. And just the lay of the land of it. Pilgrimage is tradition, walking. I know that in India we hop in buses and all of this and we call it pilgrimage, but pilgrimage actually is walking. So pilgrimage is on foot in faith. And it's either to a place or for a thing. And in the case of Peace Pilgrim, the inspiration she was given that she said yes to was to walk for a thing, and the thing is peace. By the time she received this inspiration, she had found peace. She knew that she and peace were one, and she was living a life in peace, doing what she could to serve the cause of peace or universal well-being. We can say it like this. But then she was very specifically asked through visions to walk pilgrimage, and she said yes to it. And when she said yes, she set aside the little belongings that she had remaining and took only her clothing, a pen, a toothbrush, and a comb. That's it. and started in Pasadena, California, January 1st, 1953, to walk a coast-to-coast pilgrimage for peace. And you can say in a nutshell, to live in peace, but also to share the way of peace through one's life. And this is what she was asked to do and what she committed to do. And she walked for 27 years in that same way, never asking for anything. And this will boggle your mind, and your mind needs to be boggled. So, because it's created a shell that you're wanting to break out of. And it's time. It's time. Because it's a very limited, compressed, very uncomfortable shell. And so if you listen to this, it'll help to boggle the mind, which is, she walked without asking for food or shelter. She had no funds whatsoever, no organizational support, no buses to pick her up and take food to her at the end of the day of pilgrimage or any of this. And I'm not putting that down. I'm saying the peace pilgrimage that happened over this past year across the U.S. is wonderful. But this is a lone pilgrim asking for nothing, carrying nothing. And she would say, I walk until offered shelter, and I fast until offered food. And then she would add, and it's always offered, it's always given. Now that would seem to be mysterious. And I'll testify, I just walked for 2.5 years. But the desert walk that she walked that first year, and I walked it, Pasadena to Amarillo, Texas, through the Southwest Desert. And from Albuquerque to Amarillo is not called desert, but basically it is. Just to Albuquerque from Pasadena, you can fly it in an hour and a half. You can drive it in a day and a half, and it's 3 months to walk it. And so you can picture yourself and all the things that the mind will tell you that you need to do it. And so here you go. So I'm just painting a little picture of Peace Pilgrim, just for reference. And I'm also painting a picture of your own true nature, of who you really are, in a way. So Peace has, there are several quotes. Peace was very quotable. She's very simple. She didn't know a word of Sanskrit. She was just very, very simple in her approach, simple and straightforward. And she offered the great teachings in very approachable ways. Yesterday we had a workshop, and I brought some of the Steps Towards Inner Peace booklet that I carried when I walked pilgrimage myself, and handed out all but the last few of them. So if anyone wants to see me after, I might have 3 left. But 12 Steps Towards Inner Peace, and it's laid out in a beautiful way, and it's absolutely in accordance with all of the teachings, everything that Swami Sivananda offers, Swami Vishnu, everything. Starting from preparations to the relinquishments, what is it that we finally let go of in order to embody peace? So many quotes. One of them, the way of peace is the way of love. Love is the greatest power on earth. Another, peace, overcome wrong with right, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love. We took a little time with that one yesterday. Overcome falsehood with truth, overcome wrong with right, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love. Again, the mind will boggle at this. If you really take the time to think about it, it will lead you to contemplation. It will lead you to asking questions about it, because it would seem impossible someone's yelling at you and you don't yell back. That's what she's saying is the way of peace. And so not easy. Not easy. As I was listening to the talks yesterday afternoon and yesterday evening, I'm saying, yeah, it's all true. Not easy, not easy. And we have to admit it's not easy. One more quote and then a little practice. This one I just learned about last year, and I laughed because I'd never heard her say something like this, not in anything I had read, but I know it to be an authentic quote from her. Here's what she says about peace. And obviously we're continuing in the theme of peace, yes? That's the theme of the week. That's the program that Swamiji has been inspired to launch and to offer, that I committed certainly to do whatever I can to be of support for. And she says, peace, she defines peace in this quote, very short definition. Peace is the absence of the causes for war. Listen to that for a moment. Peace is the absence of the causes of war. So what is the cause of war, or what are the causes of war, and how can they be absent? These are very good questions. She says exactly the same as Patanjali says. The entire teaching of Raja Yoga Sutras is founded upon this. He says it as Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which is yoga is the absence of the disturbances within the mind stuff. The absence of the vrittis, the absence of the whirlpools, the absence of the obsessions, different ways of relating to what a vritti is. So we're actually saying the same. In order to understand it, and our goal is to have some deeper understanding of it today, I will share with you with peace. Peace said this is the fundamental aspect of peace. She said, I serve the cause of peace, every kind of peace. When she first walked coast to coast, she carried 3 petitions with her and was gathering signatures for world peace. And world peace was very close to her heart. But to her, peace was a whole peace picture, not just peace between nations, but peace between communities, between individuals, between us and the earth. And she would say, and that most important, all important, inner peace. And she made a point of saying, and most of my effort is involved in the latter, in inner peace, because this is the most important peace. This is the peace that will allow us to be peaceful in other ways. And yes, of course, we practice being peaceful externally in order to find inner peace. So they are related. You can't say that without working for peace externally, that you can have inner peace. Can't say that. So they're related. But the important factor is inner peace. Let's try a little practice. And some of us joined in the afternoon session yesterday. Same practice as what we did. It's so simple. So very simple. We just close our eyes for a moment. Put our hand on our heart. And feel into your heartbeat. See if you can feel your heartbeat. And perhaps feel the warmth of your palm. Certainly you can feel the skin touching cloth. You can feel this sensation. And at the same time, you can feel the truth that you are perceiving these. And allow yourself to stay here for a moment. You are the perceiver. The perceiver of the sensations. You're not the sensations themselves. This is what you see here. I am perceiving. You can take another moment with it, and then whenever, no rush. Yeah, quite profound. This is the point. In this moment where you recognize that you are the perceiver, you are awake to yourself. We chanted earlier Anandoham, Anandoham. Not saying there is bliss. It doesn't say there is bliss. It doesn't even say within me is bliss. What does it say? I am bliss. It's exactly what Swami Sivananda is teaching us. I am bliss. I have many, many, many experiences. But I am the perceiver of them. You see it? Yeah. So what happens? We were talking yesterday about the unity and the unity becoming many. In the community that I grew up in, we would say that just ever so slightly differently. Just the unity appearing as if many. The unity appearing as if many. It's okay. You can set that aside. It's not an intellectual thing. The point of it is that the unity is you. It is you. Aham Brahmasmi, the unity is you. It is me. This perceiver that I am is of the nature of peace, bliss, fullness, wholeness that we seek. Not just a statement, just a pointer. This is what we get pointed to. And what happens? Why does it seem like this is not the case? And that's exactly what Peace Pilgrim was speaking of, and what Patanjali and Raja Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, are dealing with. We can just take 4 sutras, and that'll be enough. We'll just take 4 sutras. And the first one is very brief, and I am not a Sanskrit scholar. So the only one I'll repeat in Sanskrit is the second sutra. But the first sutra is, and now yoga is expounded upon, or and now yoga is explained. And this second sutra is the explanation. It's the only explanation you will ever need. You understand this, and you're good to go. The second sutra is Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The third and fourth will amplify, will help us with this. But yoga is the moment, and just allow it to be a moment, because we live our life in moments. Yoga is the moment where my mind is single-pointed. So yoga is not a practice, although there are practices of yoga. We can translate or speak of yoga as union with my highest self. That's fair. It's great. But really, yoga is an experience as well. Freedom. Being free of what? The sense of separation, my dear. The sense of lack. The sense of otherness. The sense of being unworthy. The sense that I need something. If I used a word for cause of war, the word might be asmita. Asmita. Asmita is one of the four expressions of the ego sense, and it is specifically the sense of myself as a separate entity. The sense of myself as other from you, as other from God, as other from the earth, as other from the sea or the mountain. This is called asmita, one of the names. The sense of me as a separate entity. Every one of us experiences that. There's no experience of life without having the experience of it. And yet it is false. It's universal. We can call it Maya. And yet it is false. How many of you have had moments of happiness? I know everyone will put up your hand, yeah? Yeah? So, and this is, Swamiji, this is what hit me 15 years ago, whatever that was. This moment of happiness that we have, and I would have imagined before that happiness was in a golf ball, or it was in something that I got, or something that I did, or it was in my future wife or my future partner, because my current one couldn't be it. Like this. This was the idea that I always suffered from, that it was, and all I ever wanted was to be happy, that it was out there somewhere or other. That was the idea I suffered from. And yet, if you look at that moment of happiness, and you would have the idea it's in this or that, or when I do this, I'm happy. When I do that, my God, why do people jump off cliffs? Because they experience happiness. Yeah. What was your mind doing during that moment of happiness? See, it's 100%, Swamiji. 100% correlation. Every single retreat, I'll ask the same question, 100% correlation. Your mind was doing nothing. That's what we call single-pointed mind, or jhana or dharana, concentration, a moment of concentration, yoga, a moment of concentration. And you experienced your own true nature. The mind was not even projecting separation. How many of you in that moment remember feeling separate? How many in that moment remember needing something then? How many of you experienced hunger, physical hunger, any craving whatsoever? Yeah? So this is exactly what Patanjali is teaching, and what Peace Pilgrim is speaking of is, what is the way of peace? The way of peace is to end the identification with the vritti state. We'll come back to that. In other words, in that moment, you are in absolute peace. Is that correct? Are you aware of some problem outside in that moment? No, correct? You're not even aware of a world. Later on, you can look back at it and you can say, oh, that was amazing. I was reading this, I was doing that, and then this happened. Yeah. But if you look at the very moment itself, you are purely alive. You're purely aware. And this is what Patanjali is teaching. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. The moment where there is no disturbance of the mind stuff is called yoga. Now, we're going to imagine that, well, in my life, there's this and there's that. But actually, the truth is our lives are lived in moments. And so if you want to understand life and your life, you have to break it down and look at it in moments. And you look at experiences that you had in moments. And then you can ask a question, why did I have that experience in that moment? If you ask that specific question, you'll be... So if I ask, why did I experience happiness in that moment? And you look at the state of your mind, you'll see it. It's about the best clue you can get. So this is pointing at your own true nature. Now, the next two sutras are amplifiers, and they help to put the puzzle together. And we are puzzling it out. This is, again, Swami Sivananda, life is a puzzle. Put it together. Life is a mystery. Solve it. If you don't inquire, you'll never solve it. But the peace that we seek, that we want to have in the world, is our own true nature. And so the next two sutras, in the moment where there is no disturbance, then the seer rests in her own true nature. This is exactly what Patanjali is saying. Do you hear that? In the moment where there is no mental disturbance, then the seer rests in his own true nature. This is a confirmation for you. Anandoham. 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 And the fourth sutra, the companion. And in other moments, when I have been overwhelmed by chitta vritti, when my mind's obsessions are front and forward, when I'm seeing a world of separation and otherness, then it is as if the seer has become that particular vritti. It is as if you have become that particular vritti. So when you say, I'm angry, no, that's never correct. No, you're not angry. You're having an experience, and the experience is a vritti, an arising anxiety that comes up. Where does it start? The sense of I. You see, if there's no sense of I, that moment of happiness, if someone says something to you, is it going to disturb you? It helps to see that. It won't. Only in the company of identification with the sense of I, when I say, I am this, and you are that, and you said that, and that's a problem. Now that's mind stuff, isn't it? Isn't that my mind doing that? I'm not blaming the mind. I'm just putting the finger on it. Isn't that my mind that's saying that? Yeah. And what do I feel? Anger. Yes? Okay. It's fine. I'm not anger. I'm experiencing anger. And what happened? I lost myself to it. That's literally what it is. We say, I lost myself. I must have lost myself. Yeah, all the time. Like 75,000 times a day in the worldly state. Doesn't mean when we're living in the world. It means when I am identifying with the sense of separation. When I worship the sense of separation. The solution for us is this. There is the appearance of separation, and there is the fact of unity. You see, every one of us have exactly the same experience with happiness. Did you notice that? And I can tell you that I've asked thousands of souls this question, and there's never been a difference in the answer. Does that resonate with you? You are by nature undisturbed and undisturbable. What happens is, not knowing better, identifying with the sense of separation, which is an arising, it is a vibration, it is a mental thought, it is the first thought. Ramana Maharshi calls it the I thought. It arises. I see it. I'm the perceiver. I see that thought arising. I identify with it to my peril. Because as soon as I identify with it, now I've lost myself. Sometimes I'll call it, we all live in the world. We all live in the world. It's fine. It's fine. And we have work to do in the world. And yes, we should absolutely work for peace. Yes, we should work for love. Of course we should. Ideally, we would do it from an inspired place, from the place of peace and love. And we would have a hold on it as we reach out. Ideally, this would be the case. Your own nature is love. Ideally, this would be the case. So often I'll laugh and I'll say, yes, go out into the world, but go within first. Because these are the two alternatives for us as soul. I can bring my awareness out, and by bringing my awareness out, that means I bring my awareness first to the first thought, the I thought, the sense of separation. And I accept it. I believe in it. I worship it. That's what worship means, to place something above you. Whatever you place above you, you worship. So we could say we worship dollars, we worship whatever. It's okay. But what I worship first and foremost is myself, meaning the idea of myself as a separate individual, as this or that. And this is the disease that we suffer from, is I worship myself. I worship my sense of self. I'm not saying it's bad. I am saying there's an alternative. Because what I can place on the altar of my life instead is the unity, which is not an experience, but it is a truth, the truth. My outer experience is whatever it is. You see, if I worship the sense of separation, then I experience separation outside. But if I worship the sense of unity, then I experience no separation outside. I see you as another version of myself. I see that you're suffering, of course. We do. This life is not easy. But I love you. Still, I want you to be free and happy. yeah, I want you to be free and happy. I want to be free and happy. I want to do whatever I can to support the freedom and happiness for all. I do. This is original heart speaking here. This is Divine Mother speaking. If there's one desire that Divine Mother has, it's freedom for all of her children. And her children are essentially her, and she is essentially them. And so the choice is I can choose to try to create my life, build my island, and it's fine because we will all have to do it. We all have to do it because we bought it. We subscribed to it, to Avidya. And so we'll have to do it. But what do we learn? Well, what I learned in my life, people called me successful. What I learned is it's not really success. Getting what I want is not what I want. Does that make any sense at all? What I learned is that getting what I want is not what I wanted. And so it brought me face to face with, at some point, asking, what do I really want if it's not what I want? And that forced me to realize that I was worshiping an idea, a limited idea, and that there was an alternate, and that I could find the unity in life within myself and honor it outside of myself. We're given means, and the means in a nutshell, that's what we come here for. Self-mastery. Self-mastery. Learning to connect with my authentic self, with my true self. Whether I try to do it calling it Krishna or Divine Mother or Sivananda or intuitive nature, whatever it is, perfectly fine. But we just had that little practice. And what we see in the practice is I am the perceiver. Well, I've never explored this dimension. I've explored the dimension of what I perceive. But what I'm being asked to do is get to know what I don't know. What is not a sense object. What is not a thing. What is not a physical place. And this we do by turning our awareness within and upwards, by taking yoga teacher training, by serving, loving, giving, by learning how to do, but most importantly, finding ourself within ourself, the authentic self. Inquire, who am I? Know thyself and be free. Inquiry, contemplation. Asking instead of believing that I know. It's in the inward and upward dimension. And it's the real you. It's not other than the I that's sitting here right now. The I that is perceiving. Swami speaking. The I that is perceiving the buttocks sitting on the floor. The I that is perceiving the sounds outside as the birds cry. I don't have to go somewhere else because I'm right here. I'll invite you this afternoon sometime, or when you have a moment, as a practice, just a contemplative practice. You can sit outside, find a good place somewhere to sit outside. It'll be another perfect day at the yoga farm. And look up at the sky. Take 5 or 10 minutes. Just look up at the sky. Thoughts will come, let them be. And recognize your unity with the sky. You can speak to your heart gently. You can remind yourself, I am the sky. I am not the birds flying through it. I am not the clouds passing through it. I am not the thoughts that come through me. I am not the emotions that pass through. I am not the feelings. I am peace itself. Anandoham. Om.